Yo, YouTube, what's up? It's your boy, Dylan MTG, and we're back at it again with a top 10 Strixhaven cards that I want to brew with. These aren't in any particular order. I just feel like these are the cards I want to play with, mess around with, and we're going to go from there. So, number one card is going to be Plum the Forbidden. Not number one. First card on the list is going to be Plum the Forbidden. 1 and a black instant. As an additional cost to cast a spell, you may sacrifice 1 or more creatures, and when you do, you copy this spell for each creature sacrificed this way, and the ability is you draw a card, lose a life. This card is honestly kind of insane for aristocrat builds. It's going to put them on a whole nother level because it doesn't force you to rely on your graveyard, which I think is super important because it allows you to draw so many more cards to play off the top because of its multiplication ability. And I think that's going to be a lot more impactful than people think. You know, when you Blood Artist out and you're sacrificing 4 or 5 dudes, you know, you're netting your opponent down. And even though you're losing your creatures, you're also going to be drawing 4 or 5 more cards that could get you to, you know, casting multiples and stuff like that, depending on how you're playing with vials or not. You know, plus this could be used in other decks like Vengevine decks where you're sacrificing 2 Vengevines and then drawing 2 cards. You know, there's just lots of avenues with this card. Nothing groundbreaking or anything like that, but it's just going to be really fun to brew around and play with. Oops, went a little crazy. Number 2, Body of Research. This card, I am, as most of the community, confused. But they made it anyways. Triple green, triple blue sorcery. You create a 0/0 green and blue fractal creature token. Put X 1/1 counters on it, where X is the number of cards in your library. Yep. So the combo with that's going to be Simic Ascendancy. This card's also pretty sweet. Something I wanted to brew with anyway. So this is cool for me. And I think it's going to be really fun to play. And I actually think it's going to be a real contender, not just some joke of a deck. I think it's going to be an actual deck that people are going to have to pay attention to because it will catch them out of nowhere. And the reason is because Simic Ascendancy is an enchantment that we're going to ignore. For 1 green or blue, you can put a 1/1 counter on a creature you control, which is not irrelevant. But then the next ability is when 1 or more 1/1 counters are put on a creature you control, that many growth counters are put on Simic Ascendancy. So you're more likely to have 30 plus cards easily within your deck when you cast this card. So you're just going to, boom, instantly enough counters on Simic Ascendancy. And then at the beginning of your upkeep, if Simic Ascendancy has 20 or more growth counters on it, you win the game. That easy. It's going to be that easy. And a lot of people are going to be able to assemble this pretty easy. You know, yeah, it's a sorcery and an enchantment. You know, it's not like it's some creature combo. You know, it's going to be pretty hard to interact with, especially because you're playing against green-blue who's going to be packing counter spells. So this is a combo I think you're going to be seeing a lot of going forward, and I think it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be a lot of cool brews around this. This is my favorite card of the entire set, pretty much. Clever Illumination. I think this card creates a lot of disgusting turn 2 kills in multiple ways. I just put together a super simple one here. Clever Illumination, turn 1. It's a 1 white mana 0/1 that has, its Magecraft is whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, she gets +2/+2 at the end of turn. So Clever Illumination comes out, turn 1, turn 2, you go Mutagenic Growth or Gut Shot, you know, trigger, we'll say Mutagenic Growth, +2/+2 from Mutagenic, trigger Magecraft +2/+2. Then we'll go with Tainted Strike. Tainted Strike gives Illumination +1 and then +2/+2 from Magecraft, and she gets Infect damage. So she's already at 2, 4, 6, 7, and then you cast Ground Rift. Ground Rift is Storm, and a target creature without flying can't block this turn. So this creates 3 copies, which will give +6/+6 to the Illumination. And since the way it's already planned out, we actually don't need that 3rd copy to I'm sorry, I was thinking of the Niv Magus, but yeah. So Ground Rift, with 3 targets we can choose. You know, most people aren't going to have flyers turn 1, unless it's a Birds of Paradise, but that's still not very often, you know. And boom, lethal Tainted Strike damage, lethal Infect. Don't have Tainted Strike? No problem, we got Assault Strobe. You're still going to be swinging for 20 damage lethal on turn 2. And this is just multiple cards. There's multiple ways to do this, so it's pretty terrifying. Something definitely going to be played with a lot. I think, especially when combo with Niv Magus Elemental, which allows you to play like packs and stuff like that, because you can exile those from Niv Magus. And he also combos really well with Storm Copies from Ground Rift and things like that. So I think this is something I'm going to be playing for sure. I already have a brew. You'll probably see it in the next video, so make sure to look out for that. So Culling Ritual, a card I think has a lot of potential. I'm still diving in on it, but I think it has a lot of potential. It's 2 green and a black sorcery. Destroy each non-land permanent with mana value 2 or less, and then you add green or black for each permanent destroyed this way. I think this is going to be really good, again, in a aristocrat style deck, because it can destroy tokens, which is important. It can destroy all of your aristocrat creatures that you want to die, and then it gives you more mana, which you can then use to cast, let's say, like a Reanimator spell or something like that, to bring back all of your creatures again. So it's kind of like a mass wipe, get more mana to cast again, along with destroying your opponent's creatures. You know, this hits like Tarmogoyfs, things like that. I think this is a very strong card. Once put in the right style brew, it's going to be massive. So this is a card to look out for, I think, and something I'm going to personally be brewing with, of course. You know, there's a lot of cool stuff, I think, with this card, and I think once someone finds it, it's going to be sweet. Dragon's Approach, very excited for this. 2 and a red, sorcery. Deals 3 damage to each opponent, and then you can exile it, the casted card, plus 4 others from your graveyard to look for a dragon, put it into play. But the important part about this card is that your deck can have any number of these. So any card that says that, right away, most people are going to go to Thrumming Stone, which is what I did, and it's going to be super cool. Thrumming Stone's a 5-mana spell artifact that all your spells get Ripple 4, which means when you cast Dragon's Approach, we get to look at the top 4 cards of the library and cast all other cards with Dragon Approach, and then they all get Ripple, and then they all get Ripple, and so cast 7 of these and you win. It's that easy. Or you can go get a dragon, however you want to do it. There's so many ways. So I'm excited to play with this. First day of class, I went ahead and just put the most simplistic combo with it, but essentially it has many applications. It's 1 and a red, instant. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control this turn, it gets +1/+1. It gets a +1/+1 counter. Very important. This says counter, and it gains haste, and then you get a learn. Not really sure why you get a learn with this as well, but whatever. So the simple combo with that is Murderous Redcap, who's a 4-mana 2/2 that when it comes into play, it deals damage to a creature or player equal to its power, and then it has Persist. So Skirk Prospector and Redcap with first day cast, you have infinite damage and mana. And yeah, and that's just one way. There's several combos that you can do with this. And so far, like, the best part of this shenanigans is that it's mono red, which I think is super important because you get to run Blood Moons and other cool things like that with literal no drawback, and I think that's important in this meta. Fortifying Draught, this card is just cool. 1 green mana instant, you gain 2 life. Target creature gets XX until the end of the turn, where X is the amount of life you gain this turn. So right away, Nurturing Shoal, Otacothoon Worm, boom, 15/15. Or 17/17, whatever creature is getting +17/+17. This works with Infect. This works with something I'm going to try with Neobrand. Something really cool. You just get beat down with dinosaurs, or a Lab Man or a Wild Cantor. Just any of your creatures randomly. So just something fun to play with. Gives it an extra out. Anything like that. And we all know Neobrand needs its outs. So, but yeah, this is just another cool card I think it's going to be fun to play with. Retriever Phoenix. Nothing. I don't think anything is really strong about this card per se. I just think it's very synergistic. Like, for example, first day of class, when you learn, you get to return Phoenix from the graveyard to play, and I think that's important. You only get to return 1, which is fair. It'd be cool if you could return all of them, but I guess that'd be broken. But his Flying Haste is just 2/2. And then when it enters the battlefield, if you cast it, you get a learn as well. So it can also retrieve itself from the graveyard, another copy of itself, which I think is very important as well. Just something very redundant, very, very good for grindy decks that want to just keep trying to beat you down slowly. So just something to look for. Rowan, think this card's going to be really good for multiple decks. A lot of people don't seem to think it's going to be that great, but I think she's pretty huge. For gifts, for regular blue-red Storm, she's a gift target, even if you're running literally just one of her. What she does is she's makes instant sorceries cost 1 less. Her +1 ability, it deals 1 damage to each opponent, and if you draw on 3 or more cards, she deals 3. And then her -4 ability is you get an emblem that you get to double cast basically anything. When you cast instant sorcery, you get to pay 2 more, and if you do, you get to copy that spell and choose new targets. I think that's massive. That's huge in Storm. You know, that's huge in a bunch of types of decks. We can go Ruby Storm. You get Bergie now. You have so many different ways we can make this card do very, very well. You know, and she's a very slow, it's not really a win condition, but you still get to do damage to your opponent. 3 damage isn't no joke when you're, you Burning Inquiry, draw 3 cards, boom, you hit your opponent for 3. That's a lightning bolt per turn. That's pretty huge. So just something to look forward going forward. And then last card is Witherbloom Apprentice. I'm most excited about this, even though it's like probably the least chance of it doing well. And that's just because we got to play Veto and Weather the Storm. Witherbloom's green and a black, 2/2, and its magecraft is whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. So if we cast Witherbloom Apprentice, and then Veto Thorn Rose, and then Weather the Storm in 1 turn, we're just going for it. Weather the Storm gains you 9 life, which then deals 9 to your opponent from Veto, and then Witherbloom will trigger 3 times because of the copy. The regular cast plus the 2 Storm, and then you get hit boom, 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 3 more life lost, 3 more gain for us, and then 3 more life lost from Veto. So just really cool little synergistic things that are going to be fun to play with, and there's a bunch of other ways to make this work and make it good, and well, I don't know about good, but definitely worth a brew. But again. This is my list. These are my 10 cards that I want to play with and mess around with, brew around with, and I want to know what you're thinking. So let me know what you got going on. Do you have any cards that you want to see? Anything that I should be looking at that maybe I missed for really cool brews and stuff like that? Remember, we typically just play Modern on this channel, so keep it around there. Other than that, yeah, let me know what you think. If you want to see more videos like this, please let me know. Like the video, subscribe, comment down below. It really lets me know that if you want to see more videos like this, so I can take the time to try to make them. I don't always get a lot of time, so I'd like to put my time worth what you guys want to see, whether it be more videos, more just general gameplay, deck tech, stuff like that, because I do have like a deck tech for Clever Luminance. I already have a whole deck made up, and I do have one for Witherbloom, but it's tempered metal. It's not that good. But this one is pretty freaking good, and I'm pretty excited to do a deck tech of it. So, again, remember to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.